Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another installment of the State of FEH Podcast. We're on episode 13, and we have our lovely guests, as always. Why don't you introduce yourselves, Oblivion Knight and Joel from Phaeology?
Hey, everyone. It's Oblivion. Glad to be back. Can't believe we're on episode 13. That's insane.
Wait. We were going to skip this one, weren't we? Are we going straight to 14? We discussed this.
Yeah.
Come on, TTM.
Unfortunately, we sort of dropped the ball on that, but don't worry. We have no bad luck in our channels at all. No bad luck at all. So
is this the reason why the owl isn't giving us orbs anymore?
Oh my gosh, I saw that.
Yeah, like I looked up that on like the notification. I'm just like, wait, are all orbs just like lost now or something? Or we just literally can't collect orbs? Like, what's going on?
It says, please don't try to get them. What? What does that mean?
That happened to me, and I was confused. And I thought I just was tired or something. I was paying attention. Mm-hmm. But I swear I lost at least 2 orbs or something like that. I was like, I swear I didn't collect them. They just disappeared.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we better get some compensation orbs or something like that, because losing orbs is actually so bad. And
yes,
yeah, hopefully we get further updates. But obviously it's not just bugs that we are going to be discussing, because we do have a lot of topics to discuss, starting with A Hero Rises. So A Hero Rises, we've done the full gauntlet and everything, and we have our winner. And I guess to start us off, we do have Femortis as our winner. What are y'all thoughts on Femortis being given out to everyone?
As your local Femortis sim, I was, I'm happy about it. It's one of the characters I love, and I want to merge them up to +10, right? But at the same time, I do wish it was rearmed Ophelia, maybe, or someone else who is more universally useful for everyone. Because I feel like Femortis is more of a ARD or Summoner Duels unit, right?
Right.
And less just universal. He does have AD far save though, which is useful for everyone. But yeah, I think it's a great, it's cool to see him. I'm just also afraid that now that everyone has him, that they're gonna people are gonna start hating on him more, which I'm a little bit nervous about.
So I agree with all that, but just to play devil's advocate, I do like when the community gets access to unique skills. I was a fan when Yuri got everyone got a free Yuri, because that meant that everyone was able to use that. And if you look at uniqueness of the top 4, he's probably the most unique hero there. And so I from that perspective, I think it's a good thing.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Femortis was not my number one choice. I lost 0-3 to Femortis in the voting gauntlet. But yeah, I mean, I do see that he does offer something really unique in the ending turn of whenever you try to combat against him. But at least when it comes to new players giving out Femortis, I don't feel like they could have utilized that as well as, say, someone like Legendary Veronica or Ophelia, because I know a lot of casual players would love to give Special Spiral 4 to pretty much any of their beloved range nukes, right? So yeah, but Femortis obviously still being a really nice far save, and that fodder is obviously going to be very strong. But yeah, I just wish there was anyone else besides Fallen Edelgard in the top 8. I mean, as your local Fallen Edelgard simp, I guess, I can attest to Fallen Edelgard's power, but I will agree that she is definitely not the one you want in AHR.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of AHR, are you guys going to be pulling on it?
I'm going to be sparking on it. I'll spark for an Ophelia and then I'll dip. That's all my plans.
Honestly, I have no idea. If I were to spark, it would probably be for Ophelia, because I don't necessarily need Ninja Camilla, but I need to figure out who I would actually give Special Spiral 4 to if I do. So I'm still undecided, especially compared to last year where it was just yes, this is the one to summon on.
Right. You definitely had a lot more like value in a sense that there was a legendary and a mythic, so like you could just get mergers and they had intrinsic value, right? Where here it's not quite. We have a defense mythic, which is definitely not equal to an offensive mythic when it comes to value. Personally, I think I'm gonna go at least one. I'm going one spark for sure, but I might go two. It depends on the Femortis look. If the Femortis look is like decent, then I'll stop at 2, and then if not, I'll go for 3, I guess. But I kind of don't want to spend that many orbs if I don't have to.
DTM, do we need to have a side bet? Like, how much do you think he's going for all 4? Because I mean,
there's no way. There's no way I go for all 4.
Yes.
There's no way I go for all 4. I don't need Ninja Camilla like emerge. I'm good off that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest. I think this year's AHR was definitely a lot less exciting than last year's. That probably is because of like the top 8 and how it was initially seeded. I don't know why Fallen Edelgard is still here, to be perfectly honest, but it would have been better if we had like Summer Edelgard versus Fallen Edelgard and just like the other seedings, because people really wanted like Chrom and Ophelia, but now they're like against each other. People wanted like both Summer Edelgard and Veronica, but they're against each other. So I think that and like the seeding, like at least for me, definitely like dampened this year's HR a bit.
There is one reason, and I am so sorry, Edelgard fans. Like that, honestly,
Yep.
I cannot believe that. But the good thing is my harmonic score won't be blown out of the water by another A Hero Rises harmonic, because that's every time Dancer Azura is up, I'm like, oh, how many merges do I need to stay in tier 21 for this, or interval 21 rather? So
yeah, Resonant. What was it called? Resident Battles is where it's at when it comes to these harmonics, I guess.
I love Resonant Battles. It is legitimately one of my favorite modes. I have an absolute blast in that one.
I like it. I just wish there was more of it. Like I feel like I get done with it in 3 minutes, and I'm like, okay, see ya next week. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
it definitely needs more depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like, who did you support initially for the voting gauntlet? I assume it's like both Ophelia for you both?
Yes.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I guess with regards to like the top 8, who would you have liked to see in the top 8 that wasn't there compared to like any other character that was in the top 8?
Oh, like someone who we could have added, like instead of Fallen Edelgard, essentially?
Basically,
like
yeah.
Personally, I wanted to see like Duo Thor or like Duo Asker. I think those two are like ones I really wanted to see. Yeah, even like Emblem would have been nice too. I'm not like, I feel like Emblem, like you don't need that many. Like I have one, and that's like pretty good. But yeah, seeing her there would have been cool too.
And I mean, most people aren't going in here to plus 10 a unit. Like that is
Right,
the vast majority of people are here for the spark and the free unit. But I always like to see offensive mythics in there somewhere. I mean, take your pick. There are a lot of good ones right now, but I feel like that's nice for the community, and it's a nice boost to a lot of people. Although you could argue that it increases the score threshold. I think
Right.
I think that happened last year, but anyway, I still think it's a good thing to give folks a chance to have a high scoring mythic on their team.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like, this was like way back, but like when Altina won AHR a while ago, for a lot of players, that was like their only Astra Mythic or something.
Yeah.
And that just provided such a huge boost to anyone wanting to get into Ether Raids. And I think like for AHR, like one thing that this event is really good at is like getting people into like their foot into like AR or other like bows that they might not have otherwise considered. And I guess this year we didn't really have that just due to how like the matchup spreads came out. But yeah, I mean, at the very least, like this banner I do think has a lot of great value, especially with like the fodder and whatnot for like sparking. I really wish Emblem was here. I'm still so sad. I skipped Emblem and Veronica's banner because I thought the community wouldn't let me down, and they did. And never again will I trust you all.
Fallen Elgard betrayed you.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I promoted her too much. Now she's come to exact her revenge, I guess. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. One thing I wanted to talk about was, like, have you guys seen the Thrasir bug? Did you guys see the news on that?
Yes, I actually did. And
it's so interesting.
Yeah, isn't it
what?
Thrasir currently has a bug with her preference B skill, where it doesn't say this anywhere, but she just gets a free guaranteed follow-up attack and tempo or anti-guard for free. Wow. It doesn't say anywhere, but she just has it. So they're like, we have to fix this. This is not intentional. Everybody's like, no, leave it.
Leave it. Yeah. Yeah, I watched a video demonstration on that, and like, it's so weird because how would that even happen? Because like, I don't think Killing Intent has anything code-wise that would allow that to happen, and so it's just so bizarre. Like, what happened?
I'm guessing somebody copied code or something like that.
There's a new Veronica dev.
I mean, Veronica grabbed his, put it here.
Yeah. I mean, Veronica was so sad about losing to Femortis that she just got like super buff everywhere. First engage, now this. Yeah. But speaking of Thrasir, I guess we can get into like the refines of this batch. We did have Milla, Thrasir, Byleth, and a couple others that I can't remember right now because
it was Celica.
Oh yes, Celica. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Celica, and yeah. What were your thoughts on the refined batch overall?
I thought it was okay. I wasn't just over the moon about it. It wasn't a bad batch at all. I think Byleth is really interesting, and I know there are a lot of big fans of that unit, so that's fun. I mean, it just tells you the state of the nukes right now that I see Celica, and I'm like, this is good. And I mean, she has everything she needs. It's good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like a kind of middling batch. I think that like Byleth got a pretty interesting refine considering everything. I did not expect them to get damage structure piercing. I think that's a cool effect to have on like a unit like this, like a God Sword, right? Which is cool. Right. Milla, I don't know. She got stuff. She's better overall, but like I just feel like they didn't like revolutionize her in any way, right? Like this isn't. You don't take Milla into light season anymore. For any other reason, right? It's still just for isolation. That's like the main reason why you're bringing her. You're not bringing her because of some new effect she got. So I think it's okay. I saw a lot of people getting mad at me because like her combat, she's good at combat. And they're like, she can take a hit now. I'm like,
wait.
Well, I don't know about you, but the only reason why I let Milla take a hit is because there's like a dancer left and I need to get a pot. Like that's the only reason. Anything else is gonna kill her. So I'm like, okay, I guess, but it's just not like a selling point for me.
You weren't running Sacred Cowl Milla like me.
What? Wait, what is this?
Promise turned me onto this, and it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, she really takes a hit. It's amazing I mean, obviously it's not until the end of the match and you're trying to clean up, but it's almost a guarantee that she's gonna live through a ranged unit attack.
I just use her for Wings of Mercy, and I just kind of like make her teleport around and grab stuff.
Yeah, as a plus 10 Milla user, I will have to say, do not rely on Milla on combat. I guess except for this Sacred Cowl build that apparently I'm missing out on, but like Milla is just not it when it comes to combat. And I know she definitely got buffs to it. I still don't think you will want to have her in combat. Like Oblivion, I basically just run Wings of Mercy and have her either smite or collect pots or like trap units or whatnot. And when it comes to like Milla's refine overall, I think I feel the same way. Like it doesn't really revolutionize her or I guess makes the reason why you want to use her any different. She's, I think, in the exact same place as she was before this refine, which I don't think is exactly what you want to see out of refine.
No, It's not. But have you seen Dark Rusher's AoE, Milla?
Wait,
Yes.
what is this? Wait, what?
It's like the funniest video ever.
I posted it on Twitter last week, somewhere around there. But it is hilarious. You should, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, definitely link me that because I am super curious now. Like,
It was the funniest thing ever. I don't know how they thought to do that. But, like, go for it. When it comes to Celica, because I think I'm the only person with Celica like invested into, and she's good. I think I might have like sold her a little bit too high. I think she's a little bit less good than I thought. I thought she'd be like close to Legendary Olm or like like pretty much the same, but she's not. She's like I'd say she's like one step below Legendary Olm in my opinion. She can secure kills against like hardy fighter units, but she needs like everything. Like you need to you need to be really invested to kill things because it's like very like right on the edge of her being able to kill it or not. I think the reason for that is just because like when you have those units who pierce damage reduction, usually it's on the second hit after hardy fighter, and they kind of just unleash a giant like attack, right? And that's how they do most of their damage.
Right.
The first attack doesn't actually do that much. So with Celica, you like go in and like pretty much both attacks do the same amount of damage, which is not that great when there's hardy fighter on the first hit. So it just doesn't like give her that big explosion at the end that lets her just like secure every kill easily. It's like very close. So I think she's really good. Like definitely a giant upgrade. I have in arena it's easy mode, but I don't know if she's gonna be good enough for summer rules. We'll have to see.
yeah,
Okay, question here. Now, if you are making a legendary, which preference slot do you want taken up? And like Oblivion, if you were making Alencia, and DTM, if you were making Lucina Take Two.
I think it depends on what movement type they are, right? Like with a flyer, you probably want like a B slot because they don't have that many good options, and you can get something really powerful. With like an infantry, it depends too. Like if it's like because like I want an A slot kind of, but at the same time, A slots are so like flexible. They really change to like what you can do with the build. So it's hard. It's hard to say. Like
I mean, this might be the legendary Lucina bias, but I personally really love it when they have preference assists. I just think it makes them so unique and really stand out. And I mean, if like say you have a B slot that has everything you ever wanted, then obviously that would be really good. But for example, with like legendary Celica, she only comes with like having damage reduction instead of like piercing damage reduction throughout, like Special Spiral 4 has. And because that's on her B, she can't run Special Spiral 4. So it really depends on whether or not the preference skill itself has all the effects you would want on it. So I guess like
for long. Like it's speaking of age here. I think you might be right though. I think assist is what you want. Like that gives you so much more flexibility.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think from like a design perspective, there's a lot more like design space room left for like these really cool assists that we haven't really seen before if I could just get creative. Maybe there's design space left for like B or A or C skills too. We have started seeing those with like, I guess, escape routes and whatnot. But yeah, I think there's just so much potential when it comes to like assist skills that IS could really lean on it and make it really interesting.
Yeah, I think the same thing can be said with specials, but like specials are so like hit and miss. Like right, you have like Altina who has like Twin Blades, which is an old special, but it's still really really good. And then you have someone like Ike with Radiant Ether, like it's like oh god, like please update it. So I don't know, that one's kind of hit or miss too, especially if it doesn't get the upgrade, or if it does get the upgrade, it's just trash, like like Radiant Ether.
Yeah,
so that's kind of interesting. Yeah, it's difficult to say.
We've gotten a lot of good specials these days, like from like Vital Astra, Godlike Reflexes. Although I do think they're not as necessary, especially now that we have it in the codes. But we did recently get a unit that just flat out denies these special procs, and that is Lucia on the Radiant Dawn banner, which has definitely sent shockwaves throughout the FEH community. what has your experience been using Lucia? Because I believe both of you have Lucia right now in your barracks, right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so how's Lucia been treating you?
All right. I have tested her extensively. In off bonus season, in bonus season, in summoner duels. I've been playing with her a lot. It's interesting. I think a lot of the backlash right now from the community is not understanding how to go about attacking the unit. I think once people figure her out, I don't think it'll be very long, she will lose value, but I think she will still be very valuable. I mean, I've sent you guys videos where I throw her in front of like Catria balls and they just ping off of her, because most Catria balls, the way they're designed right now is to go through specials. Like you want that special proc, you want lethality to come in and finish the unit off, or whatever special's going. And because we haven't adapted yet, then it's a very hard unit to take out. Everything in her kit is amazing. The only thing you're missing is the ability to speed stack. And in Aether Raids, it's easier to do that. But I think it does give her a ceiling. Like it's not going to be something like, well, basically, I mean, I just made the Dimitri video where you just crazy sped stacked him and supported him with everything else, and you go out there and do crazy things. That's not going to be an option for you for Lucia. So I mean, I go back and forth on this unit. I think in Aether Raid she's probably got about a year, and I think she'll be very good in that. In Summoner Duels, I think she's got a season. Honest to God, that is a season. I think it is much harder to stack speed on her, and in that mode, speed I feel is so much more important with units like, well, our Cavs. I mean, they have gone melee Cav crazy these past 6 months. And you look at Carla, you look at, well, Carla needs a special, so she's probably a bad example. But I mean, you look at Crom, you look at Seliph, you look even going back to like Nana or all of that stuff. I mean, these units are very powerful, and if she can't outspeed them, then she is in big trouble. I originally thought she was going to be better as a melee frontliner than both. Than Dimitri and Flame Lin and Alir, and I've kind of gone back on that, and I think she is excellent as a raid boss, but so many units are good as a raid boss, and raid bosses are so much more about the support behind them than the unit. So I think it is her timing that she got released right when we got a bunch of raid boss buffs makes her look better than she is. And I'll say one more thing because I've talked way too long. I've been thinking about this a ton. The example is if you have a raid boss Dimitri with all of his updated skills from as a Forma, I am more scared of your team than if you have a raid boss Lucia.
Yeah.
I feel pretty similar, I guess. I've been using her a bit. I definitely don't have as much investment into her as Joel does. But I've been having fun with her. But yeah, I think I kind of agree where like, and when it comes to SD, like she came at the perfect time, right in the middle of Might and Myriad season, which is just like the perfect skill for her. Lets her like have distant counter while still having speed in her A slot, which is important, right? Without that speed, I think she just falls off like super hard, which is, it's sad, but it's just how it is nowadays. Like, it's very interesting how units have kind of developed where it's kind of been like you either go like max other stats or you go max speed. And when you get into the speed race, it's like life and death, right? Like not the skill, so it's like essentially like you're essentially at the point where like if you outspeed, you're doing really well. But the second you're not outsped, like you're just dead, like you're useless. And that's kind of what we saw with Brave Erica, right? Where Brave Erica was amazing, and then once the speed cap started getting past her, she just kind of like fell off.
Yeah.
And it's scary because like it's really hard to invest into a unit when speed is constantly increasing, right? We're at 47, I think, max speed now at neutral, which is stupid. That's ridiculous. Like, how do you keep up with that? It might be 50 by the end of the year, which matters because every single point of speed does matter. So it's ridiculous. And also, they give out so many free stats nowadays. I think that's one of the big things that people don't consider is that there are units who get these weapons that come out and they just get like a free 10 speed or something, right? Like I think we just got Spring Bernadetta, and I believe she gets like 16 speed in her weapon or something like that. something like, it's close to that, 15, 16 speed. And you have like a Lear who does something similar, and Winter Black Knight, right? Legendary Veronica. And that's a big gap, right? That just makes the stat cap or the speed war even like crazier. So it's a scary place to be. That's kind of why I don't want to invest too heavily into her, because I feel like the second the speed gets away from her, she's going to kind of fall on her face.
I think she is a terrible unit to plus 10. Like, you got a +0, you got a +1. I think you're good to go. I don't invest past that. I don't know that she's going to be worth that. And heck, we could be wrong. I mean, she might have like this might be one of those units that sticks around for years, but I kind of doubt it.
I think if that does happen, it's because they release something that like synergizes with her, right? Like they release a support who's like, hey, you exist, I give you 20 speed, something like that. Yeah, I don't know, but I do feel bad for all the whales. Like the day that Lucia came out, I was testing her in SD, and I must have saw like 12 or 13 +10s of her at least.
Yes.
So
they were everywhere in SD. Yep. I guess like I agree with both of you when it comes to Lucia. I think like she arrived at the perfect time with Might of Myriad season and everything. But yeah, as soon as she gets outsped, she doesn't really provide a lot. And one unit I found to be really helpful in being able to deal with Lucia actually is Brave Crom. And the reason for that is because of his weapon, where every time you have a positive status effect, you get extra stats to everything. And so you can just stack a bunch of like positive status effects from like Asker, Catria, whatnot, and you just go in and you literally get like +40 attack and speed when you initiate. It's actually so ridiculous. And yeah, she just like crumbles, provided I guess that you run like a lull skill to deny like bonus doubler and all of that. And that's just, if like current modern units right now can deal with Lucia relatively effectively, I don't know how she can do when more units later down the line can potentially even have more speed. And so that's where I'm currently at with Lucia right now as well.
So that's her counter in Summoner Duels. What's her counter in Aether Raids right now?
I don't think I've ran into one on my defense at least. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in Aether Raids, which is actually bizarre now that you mention it.
It's difficult too, because when it comes to defense, you're pretty much always at a speed disadvantage, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The person coming into Aether Raids always just has like a way to set up the team so they can either get debuffs or more buffs or whatever else. So it's hard to win a speed check when you're on defense. So I don't really know what you do with her. Maybe you just like wall up and like put a million things up. Like, nah, you have to come fight me. I'm going over in this corner. But then you run into other teams that just destroy you, right? So it's difficult to say.
I think if it's win season, maybe Legendary Veronica. If you have like a bunch, have her like particularly buffed or whatnot. But yeah, I'm actually struggling to think of. I mean, I guess the answer is similar to like any other Omni tank team. Try to like attack the support units and whatnot. And at least in like Anima and Astra, that's really difficult to do because we are still stuck in Catria balls there. Light season, that's not as bad because Cavalines are back thanks to Emblem. Thank you so much.
I think one thing is like the value of lull skills and the value of Legendary Nana have like gone up so much in the past like month even, because like everyone's just stacking stats. So like just a lull just being able to get through it is so nice, and then Nano being like, hey, you have damage reduction, that's cool, I'm gonna still hit you in the face, right? Like it's very, very nice. That's why I've been using Nana. I think I'm probably gonna use Nana in this SDR season just because like it's just so much convenient when you don't have to think about any DR. You're just like, nope, not have to consider this. I'm just gonna hit you as hard as I can, and hopefully it works out.
Oh, she's amazing. I love my Nana.
But yeah, like it'll be interesting to see how like Lucia ages. Who knows? Maybe all of our takes will age very poorly, and she'll still be super dominant in SD.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, I think we're in agreement. Like in Aether raids, I'm still saying a year here, and a year for a unit is especially for an Omni tank. That's a good chunk of time. Like that's we're not
sad to say.
We're not saying that this is a bad unit by any stretch. We're just
no. I think she's great.
Yeah,
she's a great unit.
I mean,
it's.
Go ahead.
It's just like when it comes to competitive modes, like it's so difficult to stay on top for a really long time, right? That's why Brave Hector was such a spectacle, because he just refused to die.
Yeah. He was very unique when it came to that for sure. Because like I think Omni tanks, because they are a lot more reliant on stats than say like I guess hidden run units or Gale Force units, they're more prone to get like power crept or like fall off. Like I'm still using Linja 2 years on, and she's still amazing.
Yep.
I can't say the same to my Brave Ike, which is so unfortunate.
Hey, I used Brave Ike for a very long time. He didn't win every match, but I kind of forced it sometimes.
I used him right up until Duo Leaf, and that was
same.
That was the end of him right there. That unit was everywhere.
I used him way past that. I was just like, okay, Duo Leaf's there, it's Brave Hector time. He's not there, it's Brave Ike time. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I tried that for a while, but at the end, as soon as like Fallen Edelgard came in, I was like, all right, Brave Ike, you've done your time. It's Fallen Edelgard show now.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's also other units on this Radiant Dawn banner too, right? Or was it just Lucia?
I mean, Alencia is definitely there. Alencia looks so good. I wish that it was Legendary Alencia, though. I'm not going to lie. I really wish they would have put a different Ascendant there, like Nephne, which is my favoritism, or like, I don't know who else, like Soth or whatever, and then have Legendary Alencia at the end of the month. I think that would have been cool. But, you know, they went with this. So we'll get Legendary Alencia, like, I don't know, a year from now or something, and she will be different. I do think she's a good unit. She's just not, like, you know, ultra competitive unit, right? She's just, like, good where you put her at, pretty much. Though I have seen people using her in SD, which is interesting. She does okay. She doesn't do bad.
Yeah, I think the timing was just really off when it comes to like Alencia, because first of all, we did have like Dual Elise, which is pretty much the premier healer now, and it's such an amazing unit that I think is pretty slept on by like in the meta, and at least compared to. That's what I want to know.
Slept on. I don't understand.
It's very easy. It's the nature of the meta, right? Like when I did my meta video, the very first thing, the most important thing for the meta is that the unit is available. And Dual Elise is just not available. No one's summoned on that banner. So you can't use her if you don't have her, right? That's just how it is.
Right.
So we'll probably have to wait until she gets re-ran at least like one time, if not 2 times, before she starts taking over. But when I do run into her, she's very, very powerful and very, very annoying to deal with. So
yeah, and I think it's just because like the initial kit didn't scream like, oh, it's dual leaf or it's dual crom, like that sort of level. But like in practice, I think we've forgotten how good healers can be just because healers were not good for such a long time.
I didn't forget, but I'm a healer fanatic. I mean, I love healers. I don't know why. That makes absolutely no sense. But the minute I saw her, I was like, must have.
I love one healer, and that was Nana. And that was it. That's the only healer I ever used a lot. It's like Nana's the best healer. Everybody else,
And I was on Brave Veronica in ARD for such a long time, and she was amazing. But eventually, like healers did like fall off of the meta, and we've just forgotten about them. But now we're here, and I guess Alencia also like suffered a bit from that as well, because not only did she have that stigma, but she had to compare with the recent Dual Elise and everything, and so yeah, it is a bit unfortunate.
I don't think it was even that, though. I think it was just like a bad timing for both banners, right? Like you have a moment where you just released Engage, right? You had an Engage banner, everyone's super hype,
right?
And then you're like, hey, you know what? We're gonna release the Fates Royals that no one ever gets, right? There's people who love those. They're very popular. Don't get me wrong, but they're not like Corrin or Azura, right? They're like secondary
or
popularity. Or Camilla, right? Yeah. And then after that, you're like, okay, we finally get a Radiant Dawn banner. After 4 years, we get a Radiant Dawn banner. And everyone's like, oh,
Well, where's
it's
Engage?
not Engage. Yeah. Right, exactly. And all the Radiant Dawn fans are having a party, right? And, you know, literally popping the corks and drinking champagne. But everybody else is like, where's Engage at? And I don't know what they're like. They literally sabotaged those two banners, in my opinion, right? They should have just released Engage and kept the hype train going.
Right.
But they decided not to. I mean, even with 3 houses, they slow rolled it, but we got 2 banners in a row. So, like, why not do the same?
I feel like every now and again they put the game on snooze. And I understand why. You know, it kind of lets things rest a little bit, and then they release something that's just absolutely, well, at least supposed to be amazing. I feel like we're in a snooze period right now. Like we're waiting for the next big thing, and I'm curious what that's going to be, whether that be a game mode or a ton of engage units or whatever. I feel like we're waiting for that.
I just think that's like bad timing, right? I think that's stupid. Like, I think if you're like smart about it, you should always line up your big game coming out with your big hype train alongside it, right? Why not use that to like advertise for each other more, right? They did that a little bit, like 5 orbs and some stuff in Engage, but they could have done it way more and probably profited more if they'd done it. I don't know why, too, because it's not like Engage was like new, right? Supposedly it has been in development for a very long time, so they knew it was coming. So I don't know why they didn't prepare better.
Yeah,
I'm with you 100%. I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this upcoming New Heroes banner, we get like an Engage banner. At this point, I'm making no predictions, but maybe like we get rearm Alchrist with a rearm Arcane Bow, and that just like completely changes the meta. And there we go. But yeah, it's the minds of IS works in very mysterious ways.
Right. I mean, if they don't if the next new Heroes banner isn't Engage, I don't know what they're thinking. Like, I'll just be completely and utterly confused. Like, here's Shadow Dragon. Like, where did this come from? But also, I feel like the other thing is that they stopped doing Ascended and Rearmed Heroes in the same banner for some reason as well, which I felt like increased the value of the banner. Like, it made people more tempted to pull just because, like, oh, there's 2 things now to get instead of just one or the other, right? So I'm kind of confused about that. And it's not like they care about thematics, right? They gave rearmed Alfred a weapon immediately, and he didn't even have a base weapon, so they don't really care about that, obviously. That's not stopping them. So I don't know why they don't just do it more.
That's super strange, because, like, New Heroes banner, like, I don't think it's, like, a secret that they've been struggling really hard for like the past year, but like when they introduced both the rearmed and ascended in the banners, those banners did really well. Were like top of the charts, well, at least compared to like other New Heroes. And so I don't like the book 7. I understand because we had a mythic, and so you probably don't want to like have a mythic, arcane, and ascended in one
banner. I'll take it.
I mean, yeah, we'll take it, but like obviously I don't think IS would want to do that. But every banner after that, it's just super confusing. Now, Engage did do well because it was Engage, relatively. But yeah, it's super weird that they didn't do it this time.
It's not like Ascendants and rearmed weapons are breaking the meta either. You know, rearmed weapons in particular, and I love them. I think they're a fantastic idea, but they're retooling old units, which are, I mean, it's never going to be as powerful as the brand new units that came out. So I mean, I don't understand why they don't give us more of them, and they could give us a variety of them, and I'd be all for it, because inheritables have been so bad for so long.
Right. Give me another rearmed lance, but on an infantry unit, so I can duplicate all my fodder IS. That's all I'm asking for. I have all this fodder I need to duplicate, and you keep giving me wrong movement types.
But don't you have like rearmed Ganglot for that? It says IS.
I mean, I'm gonna kill a Ganglot just to get fodder. I could.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think the timing was really weird, and so like, yeah, unfortunately, this banner was not exactly the hypest in terms of like its impact on the meta. When it comes to like other banners, like as a Awakening fan, I was super hyped for Legendary Robin. I was a bit sad he didn't come with 11 sword, but there's still hope that his brave version will have it. But yeah, I guess now that
calling it now.
Oh my goodness, please don't. Okay. Okay, this is his first alt as himself since I want to say 2017. All the rest has been Grima. Like, that is so sad when it comes to Robin. Like,
Oblivion, you got him spun up again.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna even say anything. Anytime I say anything about Grima or Robin, people get mad at me. They're like, "How dare you? How dare you? They have 7 ults, but they're not the same." But I'm like, okay, sure, whatever makes you happy.
All right, I'll calm down for now. But yeah, I guess refocusing. Now that we have him for a while, how would you rate him now since our initial impressions?
Well, I think Joel's the expert.
10 out of 10. Love that unit so much. I absolutely, I can't even. When he came out, I looked at him and I did the same thing everyone else did. It's stats. Okay, whatever. I really underestimated Grand Strategy, which is funny because I use Duocrom all the time and use his Duo skill all the time. But the combination with the debuffs and his kit is very synergistic, and he hits semi-hard, but he's such a great support unit. For those of you who don't know, I actually plus 10'd him on accident. I wanted to get my last 2 Thor merges, and he just kept coming. So, that was an interesting day. But I have been absolutely loving him. I think he is way underrated, and easily I've got him as the best Earth legendary, even over Nana, because I think he will age better.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have the complete opposite take.
Go ahead.
I had him in tier 1. I think I down mode him to the lower tier. The support is not as good as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be better, but it really requires you to double down on him. You really need to invest not only into his own skills, but the skills around him. I feel like if you put a Unity on a skill and then put him with Robin, then all of a sudden they're amazing, right? When you don't, I feel like it's good on certain strategies, but not all strategies. And then also, he does not hit hard. I don't, maybe if I had him at plus 10 and, had Special Spiral 4, I think that would fix it. But, in his base kit, I can't kill much. He definitely can't kill Hardy Fighter. I was using him in SD, and he just was hitting like wet noodle. And I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of...
He doesn't hit hard. He hits semi-hard, which is just what you want to hear from a brand new unit,
Right. But when you compare him to Alm or Nana or Deirdre, and he's not even in the same category in my opinion.
But I've got so many of those, and the legendaries, you've got so many legendaries that are just pure 100% nukes.
Yes.
And this is actually a legendary that is very good at support. And give him infantry null follow-up and feed your team. That's the way to go with him. And I think he's good with it.
I think I agree. I think if you invest into him, he's good, but he is a unit who requires investment. He's kind of like Altina, where Altina, you get the base version of it and she's whatever. When you invest into her, every single investment makes her better. I think he's like that, right? You give him Special Spiral 4 and infantry null follow-up or whatever, and all of a sudden he's a fantastic support and he hits harder. You can actually kill things. But I think that's kind of where he's at for me.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you, Oblivion. I think he's good. I don't think he's better than Nana, at least at the current moment. One thing I noticed when playing against him in Summer's duels is that, the grand strategy does require the enemy to have debuffs, but when the enemy takes their action, their debuffs are gone. So it's a lot easier to, take out the Omni tank or whatnot once that happens. And it's really interesting, the dynamics that play out with that. I think personally there's a lot other types of supports that I would prefer to have. But in the right team, I do think he will do very well, especially right now with our Might of Myriads Omni Tank season. So I guess this is just Lucia arriving at the perfect time, at least how I see it.
I think the two play really well together, and I think as far as Summoner Duels, you're going to use him in a raid boss configuration, and that's probably it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that he feeds into the other configurations nearly well enough. Although I have seen a few attempts at a conga line with him, but ultimately you're gonna want someone else there. Like that's just. But I think in Aether Raids and I think in Arena he is very, very good.
I also hate that when you run into a Robin Mirror matchup, they feed each other debuffs. I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop doing that. Oh, man.
Yeah. Robin will be interesting to see. The support is definitely pretty unique. I think we only have it on dual Crom previously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which obviously only activates once per turn, once a match. So, yeah, will be interesting.
The place where I haven't used him yet is Aether Raid's defense, and there's a lot of potential there, but I also have to get him hitting harder. So I haven't given him Special Spiral yet. I've got to run some sims on that. But there are so many debuffs that folks put on their offenses, and so Unity is just amazing.
What sort of debuffs do people normally use in Aether Raid's offense these days? Because personally, like, I don't use that many debuffs, mainly because I'm back in, like, I guess the restore trap days where I don't want to, like, activate any restores. I guess I'm a bit stubborn like that, but I assume it's from, like, either chills or, like, like the schools or whatnot, right?
I use, like, Tamari Plus on air.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
I use debuffs if I can, but it's just because Unity skills are so rare. It's so annoying that, like, when did Unity skills come out? They came out with Brave Dimitri, right? I think that was the first Unity skill.
I believe so.
I want to say. And that was like 3 years ago almost. Like, how are these not more common? Like, we get attack speed catch and attack speed push on every single character ever. Yet we only have 2 characters with attack speed Unity, and one is limited and one is Brave Marianne, who I don't want to kill. So it's like, come on, IS.
Yeah. I guess we can go into, like, the Divine Codes, because we did recently get the new Divine Codes 4, which does have a bunch of attack speed catch 4 fodder. No attack speed Unity, unfortunately, so I guess we'll have to wait until next year for that, hopefully. But yeah, what are your overall thoughts on this year's batch of Divine Codes, and which path is most interesting to you?
I think it's overall okay. I think it's good, but not amazing. Like, I'd give it like a B+. I feel like there's a lot of stuff we're missing here, right? We don't have any finish skills, which isn't really surprising, but they're not there. We don't have any clash skills, which also is not surprising, but they're not there. No unities. 2 near saves, but only 1 far save, which is okay, not bad. What else are we? We're just missing, like, some key skills that I wish we would have gotten, and I also wish that some of, like, why isn't New Year's Liar on this, right? She gives attack speed catch 3. Like, put that on there. Like, that's a basic 400 code unit that should have been there. I feel like there's just some, like, things they overlooked that would have been really good to have. They did give us some amazing stuff, but, like, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like some of the paths are, like, way weak and some are, like, amazing.
That's interesting. I actually thought I thought they were all about the same strength.
Really?
Just not.
I think
none of them just really jumped out at me. And that was I kind of had a pretty level look at those. But I mean, at the end of these, at least there's either a unit, and I've kind of upgraded my view of these. And if they have a unit that is a good merge project, I consider that a good line as well. So there's a lot of stuff where there's a lot of favorite merge projects that people have, and I think that's fun for them to include. I feel like that was a bigger focus on this set than in past years, and I don't hate it. I think a lot of people benefit from that because you see a favorite unit in there, and you get to go through the codes and don't have to pay orbs for them. So I don't mind too much. But all in all, I'm at same rate, B+.
Yeah,
I think like the genealogy line is just trash. Like there's like a Battle Astra at the end, and that's it. Like I don't know why they put so much Life and Death 4 on all these codes. Like I love Ascending Joshua. Don't get me wrong, I love him. He's one of my favorite units ever. But like, why is he here? Like his fodder is just not that great. And the other thing is feuds. They put feuds all over the place. Like they're like super valuable. When it's like, okay, those are pretty niche. Like I don't want to spend 1,200 codes to get blue blue feud 3, right? Like, give me something better there.
Or like
I don't know.
1,200
I'm still a
for
fan of Blue
Flavia.
Feud. I'm still a fan of Blue Feud. So that's that like Tine at Fury 4 and Blue Feud 3. I think that's a fantastic pull there. I actually end up needing Life and Death 4 a lot, and I don't have much of that fodder. I've got to say, like, if you look at the nice thing about Merida, Ascendant Merida, is that you can get 2 of these pieces of fodder fairly easily, and they're high level. Like, you can get an Even Tempest, or you can get Vital Astra and or Attack Speed Solo 4, which is a better skill than people give it credit for. It's not a finish, but yeah.
Right. I mean, at least for me, I think I have to agree. Like, the genealogy route is like really bad. Like,
Yeah.
like Vital Astra's good, but I don't think it's enough to like carry that entire thing.
Right. Yeah.
I really wish they had more Fury 4 instead of Life and Death 4, because like I personally value Fury 4 more than
Of course you do.
Vital Astra or Godlike Reflexes.
I'm with you. I don't understand why we don't have more Fury 4. On that
Fury
note,
5.
I don't understand why we don't have more dual skills. Because if they were, like, they're not great, but if they were more available, I'd put them on more units, because they actually do have a nice purpose. Like, those are good skills. But anyway, that's a whole other topic there. There are a couple of these skills, and we always talk about, like, well, you just talked about Unity skills. Why are these so rare? Like, these are really fun, and we should have more of these. I would put those in the same boat. But I am obviously way higher on Vital Astra than you guys.
I think Vital Astra's amazing. It's just like 6,000 codes. For me, it's like 6,000 codes just to get Vital Astra. Everything before Vital Astra is like trash to me, pretty much. Like, I'm not going to use it probably. Like, maybe I use it, but probably not. Like, you know what I mean? Every other code line, you know, like code, like the Fates Heroes, or the Fates Awakening code line, right? You're getting like Infantry Speed Tactic, you're getting a Near Save, you're getting Speed Smoke 4, you're getting Special Spiral 3. Like, that's an amazing line. Like, you're getting all kinds of great stuff from there. And, you know what I mean? And to me, Infantry Speed Tactic is just as valuable as Vital Astra.
Right.
So I don't know why they gave such an amazing set of codes there. And then the bottom, you're getting like Life and Death 4 and Fury 4 and Blue Feud. It's like, okay, those aren't bad, but those are also like 4 years old. Like, those are not rare skills.
That's so interesting. See, the Path of Radiance Fae one, to me, that one was the worst.
I have that second worst.
I wasn't.
Yeah,
I love Dragon's Wrath. I think Dragon's Wrath is fantastic, but as a whole, like, if you factor in rarity and everything else, that one just, it didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good. I think that's the other not great one. I think like the first 4 I have are really like pretty good, and then the last 2, which is the Radiance and the Genealogy one, are just like, oof, like, why does this exist? Like, there's so much better things you could have put there.
Right. Like, yeah, like, I don't know. The Tellius one is just like, it's super niche, even at that, like, giving it the benefit of doubt. Like, there's not a lot of units that would appreciate Dragon Wrath 4. I mean, I guess there's a bunch of dragons, but I think there's a lot better options than Dragon Wrath 4. We just got like Halloween Corrin as well in, I guess, the AHR Engage Cup if you really wanted that.
I think they should have put Duo Ike, and that's not me saying that because it's Ike, right? I think it's just because like there's no upgraded distant counter on this entire Divine Codes.
Right.
Like, even the resistant distant counter, which is the least rare, isn't here. They could have easily put Duo Ike there, and he could have given out Distant Dart, and that would have been that would have made the whole
amazing
road way better. Yeah.
As soon as you said that in your video, I was like, oh my god, you're right. Where the heck is the distant counter?
There's just like so many holes, in my opinion, that they just didn't think about.
I mean, I think overall I do really like this batch, and that's not just because Valentine's Lucina is in the codes. But like, my biggest thing was like Hardy Fighter Far Save, and we got Ascendant Fiorm, and so that already like made the codes for me. Everything else is just a bonus, and yeah, the fact that we get 2 near saves, or like 2 merges, I guess, on those popular saves, we get attack speed oath 4, which is absolutely amazing.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, I need that skill as soon as possible because that is so good and so universal too. But yeah, like there are definitely a lot of holes, but overall, I think I'm pretty satisfied with this batch.
So where are you? Are you like on the B+ train, or are you higher or lower?
I guess I'm similar to like a B+, maybe A- if I'm feeling generous. Because of Lucia, but yeah, that's probably where I put it.
I think the coolest thing is actually that there's two cool things, right? They have Summer Dimitri at 800 codes, which is crazy to me. I never thought that would happen ever.
Yeah.
And they have Ascended Celica at 800 codes, which is its infantry no follow-up. Like, how do they value that at 800 codes? That's ridiculous to me. That's like at least 1,200, if not 1,600. Like, that's nuts. I saw that and I was like, steal. Like, you sold me. Like, I buy all of them. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, just having like any supportive no follow-up these days is just so important. Because like there's so many other, I guess, B skills you would rather run at this point, especially for infantry, like Special Spiral 4, for instance, if you don't have it in the perf. So yeah, infantry speed tactics and infantry no follow-up is definitely on the rise.
Well, we're in the meta of bonus stacking. Like that is what we're about. Like stats what? No, bonuses.
And that just means Brave Crom gets even better. Let's go. Even more stacks.
He is aged like a fine wine.
I think everybody said that though. Like everyone's like, okay, this unit's like good now, but he's gonna be greater later. Because like it was just like the amount of bonuses they've been just handing out is stupid. And even back then, we already saw like it beginning to happen. So I think he will age pretty well for sure. I'm interested to see what next bonus shows up, right? Because we just got a lot of no follow up and stuff. Like, what is next? Are they gonna hand out domination or like dominance or something like that? Or, like treachery? Like here's a treachery buff. Like everybody gets it.
I can definitely see them like releasing new lines of C skills that just give out those buffs just to, I guess, add some spice into like these skill lines. And honestly, I would be totally down for that. Like having these sort of supportive effects would be super cool and like help, I guess, buff, your favorite carry Omni tank to be able to be usable in something like Ether Raids. So
well, I showed you guys the OG Azura who came in to my defense and almost won. Like it was a very close thing, but I have a very tweaked out defense, and that was humbling. But that's awesome. Like that's a good place in the meta to be. But I mean, we just got Desperation, like Fireflood.
Yes.
I mean that's I need 7 copies of it. I don't have the orbs to get that, but I would like them.
I didn't get any copies, unfortunately, so I can't try it out. But it looks really good. I think that the interesting thing is, right, because we got like Speed Tactic 4 kind of with Infantry Speed Tactic. So I'm interested to see what they do with like attack and defense and res, because I think they could do like treachery or like dominance or like, I don't know, penalty doubler or whatever else.
I mean, if attack tactics gives out like desperation or something, I think that would be super cool too.
Oh like, god. Yeah, that'd be scary.
Yeah, just desperation on everyone. Let's go.
We go back to like Oblivion's original videos where he was talking about game design in FEH, and I thought it was really nice the design space that they opened up with those, and I think they've done a good job. Which I mean we do a lot of criticism here of IS, so we gotta give them props when they do things right.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, they do make some interesting stuff a lot of times, and then. It's kind of weird because like sometimes they make really interesting and cool units, and then like sometimes they just like, okay, this unit has no follow-up, some stats. What else can we put on it? Some true damage maybe. I don't know, just staple a bunch of stuff on it, and like, okay, throw it out. It's good. It works. I mean,
it's very obvious when it was 3 a.m. and someone said, "Oh no, I forgot to do this unit." Just throw some stuff on there; it'll be okay.
Yeah, that's how we get Astrum refined.
Oh god.
I have gotten those same comments that you've gotten. No, he's amazing. I'm like, ugh.
He's amazing. I swear. Nope. No, he's not.
Sure. Yes. We'll go with that.
Yes. We'll let you believe it. I don't know.
I'm just like, here's an arcane sword. Just use it. You'll feel better.
I mean, IS is super interesting when it comes to balance because I think like most of the time it's just very standard, quote unquote. Like most units on banners are completely forgettable when it comes to like their impact. And then there will be this one unit, the star, that may or may not just like shape the meta. I guess this recent spring one was like Carla, right? Sure, like we have a new Bernadetta that could be another Winter Bernadetta, and we have Triandra with like the new skills with like Wind Fire Dance. I completely forgot what it was called. It was one of those dance skills that actually is super cool. But yeah, like it's really interesting because like these days it's really only one unit, if at that, per banner that we'd really go for. As opposed to like spreading it out over like all of the units.
I don't know about that. There have been more sneaky units lately than we've been giving them credit for. I was just looking at Leo, which I have completely forgotten what banner he was on. That's a sneaky unit though. Like
He's
that is
good.
I picked him up because I was looking at doing some more stuff with hit and run just because I've been kind of studying it, and he is very, very good. We've got stuff like that. Winter Bernie is the obvious sleeper in this one. I mean, and you guys were talking about earlier the speed. Right. I have had lots of people say that in the reaction I did, I ignored her combat capability completely, and that she is actually very good at it. And so it's something that I want to look at further. But I think they have been doing better. The one place I don't think they've been doing better for the most part is demotes.
Yes.
Although we do get, now and again, we get some good ones. I mean, I thought Byleth was amazing, and I think everyone thought Claude was amazing, because how could you not? But there's so many times that the demote comes and I'm like, and it's a demote. Next.
Yep.
I think the bigger problem though, like, because demotes have always, from the beginning of the game, have always been not like the best. They're always just demotes, right? Well, that's not true. We got some like one with like preference weapons back in the day, but not too often. The problem is that their fodder is just so utter garbage. Like, we get these demotes and they come with like skills that we already have in the main summoning pool, or just skills no one will ever use. I think one of them had a ploy recently, like res ploy or something. Like, when's the last time someone used res ploy? It's so dumb. Like, give us skills already. It's ridiculous. I was talking to somebody in the comment section in one of my videos, and they were like, what do you think of that? And I'm like, no, they're so stingy. Like, we're still like running Fury and Desperation in 2023 because freaking solos aren't available for some reasons. Basic solo 3 should be available multiple times in the summoning pool. Like, it's just ridiculous. No quick repose 3, right? Like, there's just so many basic skills that people need to play the game. And I think it's one of the reasons why it's so difficult to get into FEH, because there's so many systems to get over. But then you realize, I don't have fodder. Like, how do I get this fodder? I killed 5 stars. Oh man, I don't have many of those. I don't know if I want to do that. They need to fix that. I think that's like the number one thing they should fix right now. It's just like getting rid of some of the older 4 stars and then adding in new 4 stars with actual fodder. That like actual newish fodder. Like, please. That
hit me in the feels so hard.
I'd be fine if they went Scorched Earth and just completely took those out and did something completely different with them. I've heard a lot of fun theories on that, but I just, as far as just like, here's this is gone and we've got a whole new set. Let's go.
When it comes to like the fodder, it's just so tragic because if you actually look at your options for A skills that give attack and speed that are easily accessible, there's like nothing. Like, you only get life and death 3 and I guess attack speed form, and that's basically it, really, that you can realistically get from like...
Attack speed ideal is now available.
Yeah,
I guess that's true.
But still not that great though, to be honest. Like, it's okay.
And like
I don't know.
It's like, especially when you're like building budget units on a budget, like not having good attack speed options. Like I tried to build a Buri with a better A skill, besides just life and death with like Blazing Wind and stuff. And I was looking through it, and there was nothing. I couldn't do anything. I had to get attack speed ideal from the codes. I was going to build Valoria, and she needed a good attack speed A skill, and there was nothing. I had to go in the codes and get Swift Sparrow 3 of all skills to inherit on her in order to actually use her. Same thing with Legendary Male Byleth. I literally just get Swift Sparrow 3 in the codes because there was nothing. Like, it was either that or attack speed form or life and death. And yeah, I don't know. Like, they really need to, like, I guess move all the 3-4 stars somewhere else and just like clean it out. It's already bad enough that like it's so bloated you can't like reliably get a single unit. But yeah,
I think Swift Sparrow 3 should be like in the 3 to 4 star pool, or like even if it's just 4 star or whatever, and it costs 20k feather, like that's fine. That should be in there. Like just put it in there on somebody.
Right.
It's so ridiculous. Like it annoys me.
And the way they seem to think that they're solving that is by both these codes. Well, no, codes in general. Like we've got the limited codes and then the and then the permanent codes. It's yeah, and that's good. I think they've done a good job with that, but we definitely need more.
We just need a good attack speed option that is not so restrictive. That's all I want out of this. But yeah, I do think I was surprised that on the anniversary FEH channel they didn't like drastically changed up the pool or whatnot. Like I think previous years, I mean, there was a time we got the 4-star special rate, right? I was thinking we might get something similar, but like more cleanup focused on the 3-star, 4-star pool. But yeah, we didn't get any of that. We got arena changes instead. This
anniversary was pretty lackluster. Like it wasn't bad by any means, but it wasn't fantastic. And I think we were all expecting fantastic.
I think the thing is, like last year, right, was that we had summer duels a couple months before it. So I felt like we had gotten something new. You know what I mean? So I felt like we'd gotten a present recently, so it didn't feel that bad last year.
Right.
This year we haven't gotten a present in like a year and something. So it's like, oh man, like where's my gift at? Give me something new to play with. I want like a new game mode or like fix a whole bunch of problems. Like do something. I don't know.
The gift is Engage and Emblem Veronica DLC.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You guys need to play that.
Yeah, I've been like watching videos about Emblem Veronica, and she looks super interesting as an emblem, and also her bond conversations looks really nice as well. But yeah, you literally can summon heroes, I think, right?
Yeah.
She's a love letter to Fae, like 100%. Like she has a skill called Book of Worlds, and it's literally like you going through the Fae books, like like Surtur, Dream World, Science World, all that stuff, right? It's so cool. Such a nice callback, and then being able to summon heroes so you could gacha and engage too, and she's really, really strong as an emblem. She's really fun too. The only thing I had a problem with was like they didn't really capture her personality the best. I feel like in the beginning at least. I feel like the bond conversations are better, but like the first time you talk to her, it's like she's like has like PTSD after losing to Femordis in the AHR. Like, it's bad. I'm like, what, Veronica? What are you saying? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that I guess when they were like planning this out, book 6 didn't happen yet, and so I guess they didn't incorporate that. But I guess in the bond conversations they sort of did, because they did mention. I mean, I don't know how much I actually want to say actually. But yeah, like it's a really weird mesh of like book 1 and book 6 Veronica.
Yes. Yeah.
But as a representative of Fae, I do think it works.
Yes.
And definitely gets at her like character arc throughout Fae. So for that Engage appearance, I think it's nice.
Yeah, I don't think they could have picked anyone better, to be honest. I think I would have been happy if it was Alpha sort of summoner. I think Veronica's the best choice they could have made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really need to get the DLC. Wave 4 is going to happen in like 2 weeks at this rate.
It's tomorrow. They're like, hey, tomorrow, phase 4. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's so much faster. I was expecting this to last throughout the whole year. I cannot believe it's like beginning of March and we're already this far in.
That's weird, isn't it?
I mean, meanwhile, like 3 Hopes DLC, what is that, right?
That doesn't exist. Yeah.
Aw.
Okay, so time for Crackpot Theory, right? So the reason why they're rushing it is because they're going to announce the Genealogy of the Holy War remake in June when they do their Nintendo Direct. Calling it now. That's fine.
That's an interesting theory. I could see it.
It has to come, right? It has to show up eventually. They've been talking about it for so long. Give me
I mean, at this rate, it's either happening or it won't, and it will be hilarious because of how much people have been talking about it. Like,
I feel like they have to do a remake. They have to do a remake of something, right? They can't just not do remakes anymore.
I mean, I think a remake is definitely in like the works. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be announced this year or not. Like, that's where I question things. Because, like, I was back in the Pokemon fandom back in, like, Generation 6, and there were so many rumors about Pokemon Z, and it just, like, never showed up at all. And so, I sort of just, like, burnt out on, like, speculative rumors and stuff.
I think it's always fun, so I always jump on it and see what happens.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, very interesting month in FEH, I have to say. It's been around an hour and 10 minutes, and yeah, any final thoughts before we close it off?
The Mortis gang, rise up. Number 1, we won. Good job, guys.
You didn't even support him through most of this.
I supported him at the end. That's what it matters.
Oh my goodness. I know people are happy about that, but I'm still kind of sad.
I was there in the final hour.
I get abandoned multipliers when it comes to AHR. I guess that's my message to FEH. But yeah, overall, again, this is always a good time, always a blast talking to you both about FEH and everything. And yeah, I had a really amazing time.
I think they should like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. You know, it only takes a minute. It can really help the channel. That's
And not only to my channel, but to Oblivion and Joel's channel as well. The link to those will be in the description down below. But yeah, let us know down in the comments what was your favorite addition in FEH this past month. Which new heroes you think were.
Oh, we got to talk about one more thing. Oblivion, did you... Okay, so
Yeah,
DTM's last video, where summoners, we'll just let you in on this. So he's in the in our chat, and Oblivion says, "Oh man, I almost forgot not summoner duels, but Aether Raids." And DTM's like, "Oh my god!" Like, heads off and goes, "I have never heard him talk faster in my entire life than on that video." I mean, it was fantastic. I loved it. You should go watch it. I mean, this was speed running at its finest. So yeah,
I don't even want to
go check that out.
Re-experience that because that was in a rush. I was like at work and everything, and I was like, oh gosh, it's all over or something. Yeah, but it all ended out in the end. It all ended well in the end. So that's all.
Of course it did.
Yes. Hopefully my level 1 Azura run this week will end up well in the end. We'll see. If it ends well, there will be a video. If not, well, you know why. But yeah. Let us know down in the comments what you're most excited for. And yeah, thank you, Oblivion and Joel, again, as always. And yeah, hope you all have an amazing rest of the day. And see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Take care and schedule an appointment with your DTM soon.